What is going on, everybody? This is Hake from HakePhase. Today we'll be building rock paper scissors game with Python. We'll from now build projects with Python and JavaScript to enhance our skill. If you want to get notified and start getting into tech, subscribe to the channel and now hit that thumbs up button so that this video can reach out to many people and help. Okay, let's get into the programming part. Firstly, we'll define a list. We are using Python as our IDE. You can use any code editor like VS Code or anything. I prefer using Python because it helps us build in a nice way. Okay, let's just increase our font size so that you can view it. Nice. Editor, font, and then I'll just keep it 25 so that okay, this would be good. Now firstly we'll define a list with choices. Okay, choices equals to rock, paper and scissor, and this will be strings. Rock, paper and scissor, this will be strings. Rock, paper and scissor game works like rock wins with scissor, scissor wins with paper, and paper wins with rock. Rock wins with scissor, scissor wins with paper, paper wins with rock. So let's first make our while loop, which will be while true. This true means because we need infinite loop for repeated playing, so we are using directly while true. This will be infinite loop, and then we'll take input from the user, which will store in variable called user choice. User choice equals to input, and then I will just give rock, comma, paper, comma, scissor. Inside this you can write anything that will help user clarify that what input you are assuming that from the user. Okay, you now just go to the next part. Let's first give the instruction to the user to how to play the game. Okay, and for this I'll just make some comment with instruction, and then I'll write one print statement like this. Let me copy some snippet from my okay. Now I'll explain what this means. Instruction to follow. This will give some instruction like one, enter the numeric value for your choice, that is 1 for rock, 2 for paper, 3 for scissors, and enter Q to exit. This is our instruction for user to play the game. And what does this sep equals to new line character means is it is the comma separation will be default to spaces, but now we want this to go every line go to the next line, so we are using the new line character. After this, let's move to the next part of the program, that is checking the input is equal to Q or not to exit it. So if user choice, if user choice is equal to Q, then we want it to break the loop, so we are using break keyword. For this, user can also type the caps Q, so we'll use something called lower. Lower is the strings method which converts the string into lowercase, so that even if user provides caps q, it will convert it to lowercase and be checked. So the next part is now converting the user's input from string to the integer to get the value from the list. So let's move towards it. User choice is equal to int, which will be typecasting it to user choice. I'm auto completing it with a tab, so you can also use tab. Now we need something to generate for computer too, so we'll use computer choice. And how we can generate is with rand int from random module. So we want this to have 1,3. We need to import rand int, so let's import it like this. From random module import rand int. What does this do is it generates random integer value from 1 to 3. It gives either 1, 2 or 3. So we want to store this value to computer choice. Now let's move to the next part, which is now we'll check whether user wins or lose. For this we'll just use if result. Result is a function which we will define it later. Now let's just use it. User choice comma computer choice, we'll just provide it with the values, and then it will provide a boolean value, either true or false. If user wins, then it provides true, or else it will provide false. So for this, print you win. And we'll go to the next line so that it will be visually very clear. The gaming environment will be visually very neat and clean. Else if user choice is equals to computer choice, then we want this to have tie. We want this to print as tie. How does this work is, let me explain you first. How does this work? This works like if this result function returns the value of false, then it will move to this elif, which basically means is else if. Else if user choice is equals to computer choice, this double equals to means it is checking either these two values are equal or not. So if these two values are equal, it will print you tie. Then also it's let's print like it's tie, not you tie, it's tie. Okay, then after else we want this to print you lose. Okay, this is you lose, and this will also print to the next line. Now the next part will be like it will be the next part is a result function to be defined. So let's define it above this. While look, def means it is define result. This is our function name, which will take two inputs, that is player 1 comma player 2. These are the two arguments we'll be passing to the function. Now we want this to return a true or false value, that is either it means we want this to return a boolean value. For this I have generated an algorithm I came up with is, let's first write the code and then I will explain it how I did this and why I did this. For this let's player 1 minus player 2 is equals to 1, or the same player 1 minus player 2 is equals to minus 2. So this will return something. With player let's just reduce this abundant, and then this will return player 1 minus player 2 equals to 1, or player 1 minus player 2 equals to minus 2. This will return the boolean value, either true or false. So the algorithm I came up with is rock loses with paper, paper loses with scissor, and scissor loses with rock. So this means 1 is rock, 1 loses with 2, 2 loses with 3, and 3 loses with 1. So the algorithm works perfectly. Now let's check whether it works or not. But before this, let's add one print statement which says, like, before this if statement, let's just give some print statement, a line of print statement. Print choices. Inside of choices we need user choice minus 1, which means if user enters 1, we want the index value we want the value which is in index value of 0. So let's comma versus comma, and then we want computer choice 2 choices computer choice minus 1, and then we want something with this, and then we will just end this with we don't want this to go into the next line. So this will return like when you win. After this value it will not go to the next line, it will just print you win, and then we'll move to the next line giving this gap. Now let's run this and see whether it works or not. For this, click right click in the file and then run. Okay, enter the numeric value for your choice: 1 for rock, 2 for paper, 3 for scissors. Enter Q to exit. So let's enter 1. Rock versus scissor, you win. We will win when we had rock with scissor. Now let's again enter 1. Rock versus rock, it's tie. Now let's just try until it comes rock versus paper. Rock versus rock, rock versus paper, you lose. So we want exactly this. Let's try with scissor. Scissor versus scissor, it's tie. Scissor versus rock, you lose. And scissor versus paper, let's wait until it comes scissor versus paper, you win. So this is what we are trying to do. Now let's enter Q and we'll exit the game. See, with this let's just give, after this while loop ends, we'll print with you have exited the game, so that user will be notified. Now this works exactly correct for this. Now this works exactly correct, but it's not confirmed that the user always enters the valid input. Our code breaks when user enters other string than Q, because it only checks the word Q, and then if it is not equal to it, it will just typecast it into the integer, and we can't typecast any other alphabets into integer. Let's try it for show the error. Now we want this to have GH, and it breaks with the value error. You can see here. So we'll just we'll just make sure that we will eradicate this error with try except. Now just wrap this typecasting with inside try, and then after this, if this what does this try except does is accept value error. What does this do is let's just write pass here, and then what does this do is when this line gives error and it equals to value error, the code it will run is this inside this suite of code, inside this block of code. So we are this is the process of error handling. And if you want this to be more clarified, if you want me to clarify this more, you can comment down and I will explain you with this. Now let's just write here with continue, which will do okay, just print with empty line and then continue. This continue does it it pushes the runtime index to starting of the loop, and it checks it is infinite loop, so it will run from here. Let's try it run, and I will again write gh, and we are again returning to the same while loop. Our code is not breaking. So we have already eradicated the error, and the last error we have left is with numeric error. That is when user enters any other value rather than 1, 2 or 3, it gives error. Let's try with 4. It gives error, you can see this. So for this we'll use conditional statement, that is if we just want this to have like when we want this to have is go here, and if 0, if user choice is greater than 0 and less than 4, which means user choice must be 1, 2 or 3, and we'll wrap this all inside this if statement. Else we want this to have print statement with enter valid input 1, 2, 3 or q. So and after this we want this to have next line. Now let's run this, and our code is almost finished. Let's type 4 and enter valid input. So our code now is running correctly. Okay, this was the whole part of the rock paper scissors game. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit subscribe to the channel and hit that thumbs up button, smash that thumbs up button so that this video can reach out to many people as possible. Okay, this was the end of this video. See you in the next video.